Welcome to our Carleton at 60 series. I've had the pleasure today of speaking with Lorraine Kelly, our second female president at the club. And such a pleasure for me to have her here today, and welcome. And I just wanted to ask you, Lorraine, first of all, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your family and everything else?
Yeah. Thanks, John, for having me. It's a pleasure being here. A little nervous, to say the least, but we'll persevere. Yeah. I was raised in Toronto and was married in 1967 and moved to Ottawa, and I've been here ever since. So we've been married now for over 55 years. We have two children, John and Kristen. John lives in Connecticut with three little ones, and Kristen lives here in Ottawa with three. The eldest just graduated Boston University. She had a scholarship, hockey scholarship, and she finished her 4-year term in 3. So we were very proud of Grace. And next year she's going on to Maine to do her MBA. Wow. And of course, Jack plays hockey as well. He hasn't decided exactly what he wants to do. And Kate is going off to St. Yves in September. And of course, Kate's worked here in the pro shop for the last 3 years.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. So, how did you get into golf? How did you get to Carleton? How was your journey here?
My journey here was that I was always a domestic engineer, as I call it, a homemaker, and I always volunteered with the children at school. And once they became a little older, I went back to Algonquin and I took advanced typing and bookkeeping. So I got involved in bookkeeping. I finally had 3 or 4 little clients, and I opened my own bookkeeping company, and I did that up until a few years ago. At Carleton, back in the mid-'80s, a friend persuaded me to take some golf lessons. I had never been interested in golf before. And so we took some lessons, and finally by 1989, I said to my husband, if I'm going to take up this sport, I have to learn how to do it, or I have to join a club. So we joined Carleton in 1989. After joining Carleton, I was very involved with the ladies. The first experience with the Ladies Association was I came out to their Saturday opening luncheon in the spring, and the dining room was full of ladies, and the hats and the gloves, and it was something spectacular, and I was very impressed. So I started volunteering with the Tuesday ladies, the morning ladies. I eventually became ladies captain, playing captain, organizing the Tuesday Morning League. I got involved with the CLGA. I did slope rating for Golf Quebec, probably for about 20 years. Just gave that up a few years ago. So it's always been my thing to learn and participate. So as I became ladies president of the Ladies Association, that was my appointment to the board. And my appointment to the board, I think, was in 2000, and the vice president at the time, Jocelyn Pigeot, decided to retire or leave the club, and 3 or 4 members of the club came to me and asked me to take over that position. And I said, are you crazy? There's no way. What do I know about running an organization? President of the PTA and organizing how are you going to sell chocolate bars is a little bit different. Anyway, they persuaded me, and I was elected to the vice president, and then eventually in 2001 elected to the presidency. Wow. Now, I can go on and on. At that time, Sheila wanted to retire. Sheila McCurdy had been here manager forever. And I said, oh, Sheila, please, you can't retire. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to learn. So I spent the first year of my presidency under Sheila getting as much information as I could. And I also joined the playing committee at that point. And when I took over as president, I became the chair of the playing committee, because I needed to know what was happening inside the club, inside the dining room, and what was happening on the club. So I got to know Joel very well. And as we progressed, we accomplished a lot on the golf course. The board did. I didn't personally do it, but the board and Joel and his team. We were fortunate to get in that first year around 90 members from Cedar Hill, because Cedar Hill went from private to semi-private. And with that brought in income, so we were able to spend money on the golf course. I was talking to Joel last week trying to find out exactly maybe what we did, and he said, "Are you asking me? How would I know?" Anyway, he did remember that we redid all the bunkers. At one point, we added, I think, 16 new bunkers. And we started working on the drainage, because the drainage, as you know, was a problem.
Right.
We also redid 2 greens. We totally redid number 12 whole, and we also did the green on number 7. But we did a lot of work. We dug out ponds on number 3, and but I think the big thing was the redoing all the sand bunkers and putting in this beautiful white sand. I mean, it was spectacular white sand. It was amazing. I had one member say to me, "That hurts my eyes when I'm in the trap." I went, "Well, don't go in the trap." But it's simpler as that. Anyway, other than that, because we were able to do so much with the golf course, it made my presidency easier a little bit, but it also helped the golf club, because with all the new members coming in, we had funds in order to work. So it was great for the club as well. So.
Yeah, that was a good time for golf, because as you know, we were pretty good with members. Tiger Woods was birding up the PGA. Young kids were coming out. I remember being the junior coordinator. We had to put limits on the number of juniors coming in, and
we did.
It was a very booming time in that period. Tell us a bit about your work with the OVGA. I know you were very much involved with that as well.
Well, I first started as a volunteer with the slope rating team.
Slope rating,
and of course you worked directly with Golf Quebec, and then CLGA became OVGA. But in order to do slope rating, I went to handicap rating meetings, as well as I thought, you've got to learn the rules too. So I did take a rule seminar, a 4-day rule seminar that the Canadian Golf Association put forward. So I was able to do that. But other than the slope rating, I wasn't really involved directly with the OVGA.
Okay.
It was in my later term with the CLGA and Golf Quebec that OVGA amalgamated. So I wasn't really too much involved with them. But one of the things we did, I forgot to mention that during my tenure, we did introduce equal fee for ladies and for men. And we also introduced if a couple lived in the same household, they could join as a couple. So that was kind of a new thing. I remember Stu last week was talking about it was a family club and you had to be married. Well, now we've extended that to make it, available to everybody. And I think we got a lot of members that way too, because a lot of ladies joined as couples. So that was great. Yeah.
So your time here was incredible. So what was your biggest challenge as president? I know when you came in, you didn't look. You started playing golf in the mid '80s, and then in 2000, like 11 years, you're the president of the club. That's a journey. And I know you as a person that gets things done, but I mean, this is a pretty big leap. Being our second women's president too, and that's another issue that did you find any resistance to that, or because I remember joining the club in the mid '90s, and women weren't even allowed to play on Saturday morning at that point.
Yeah, well, it was a challenge. I think there were a lot of male members of the board at the time. Back in 2000 that really didn't want to see a lady president. And of course, maybe they knew that I knew nothing anyway. So they were saying, who is this upstart that wants to be president? But, and I think in later years, some of the gentlemen that enticed me to take on the position, some of the other people resented them. But you know what? It's all water under the bridge. I'm good friends with them all, and I'm grateful for all their hard work. The second year of the term was particularly difficult for me because Greg Richardson came in as manager after Sheila retired. So he was new. I was new. I spent every day here. And at one point when Grace was just a baby, I would be looking after her, and she'd come in her snowsuit and stuff, and she'd be asleep, and I'd put her underneath the desk to continue sleeping as I signed checks and looked at invoices, because I really need to know what was happening. I wanted to learn as much as possible. So it was an exciting time. I was just hoping I didn't make a complete idiot of myself. But, there were challenges, but, we managed to work through them. And I enjoyed working a lot with Joel and the Green Committee. One of my biggest peeves before I even became president was the washroom on number 8. It had to be changed. It just had to be changed. So that's one of the things we did accomplish, which, it's still there. It's still got the tiles on the wall and everything else. But other than that, as I say, it was a pleasure working with Joel. It was a pleasure working with the board. They made my time difficult sometimes, but, we managed to get through it.
Yeah. I always find that interesting. You have a group of people from all different walks of life. You've got engineers, you've got, like accountants, you've got, teachers, and you're all at the same table, and you all have to make decisions, and you all have different experiences for how you go around doing it.
Right.
And you have to come to a resolution on how you're going to approach a topic. And I always found when I worked on a committee that I learned so much from the way other people, how they approached problems in their industries and their businesses. And I used to incorporate that when I went back to my teaching and as a teacher and as a principal and whatever. Did you find that you kind of, like you had that eclectic group of people there?
Well, and we did. And, we had people like Pat Parker, who was the secretary, which was extremely helpful because she knew parliamentary procedure.
Right.
So if we had to take a vote on something, she was there to guide us through it.
Yeah.
We had different captains. Stu Whiteman was the captain on the second year, and Tim Yates was one of the captains on the first year. And, we just had different people all the way around. Steve Cutler was the past president, and Jim Carnegie and Fraser Wilton and so many people that had experience. I must, that it was just pleasure.
Yeah.
I must say that when I first started playing, this would be the early 90s, the Tuesday ladies used to play a game against the senior men once a season. And I was drawn, and I played with Ron Found, and he was the president at the time. And I thought, whoa, am I lucky? I'm playing with the president of the golf course. Then you become president, and it's not such a big deal. There was another crazy incident. I'm standing in the pro shop one day, and one of the male members, I really didn't know him that well, but he turned to me and he said, "Here, take this to the office." And I thought, oh, okay, but I'm president of the golf club. I didn't say that. So, there were scenes like that, but I was so impressed to play with Ron Found. And then I thought, oh, yeah, here I am president. Nobody thinks I'm great.
I do. I do. I've always known you as a woman who got things done, and I'll never forget the time that you did the course rating for the green tees, and I'd been trying for over a year to get the black tees not only rated but at least acknowledged.
Yeah.
And you in 2 weeks had them done, so that I'll never forget.
Well, for rating, I wasn't supposed to rate in those 2 years, and I wasn't supposed to rate Carleton, but because I had an inside, I was able to contact the ladies and say, come on out, we're going to rate the golf course. So we were able to do that. Okay. And we did some of the tee boxes then, and I remember digging out the pond on number 3. They were scooping out all the muck, and then they took all of it and they put it on the other side of number 4. It's still there as a mound on the other side of the fairway.
Right.
And then when they dug out for the 2 bunkers on number 18, they took the dirt from there and they made a little berm between the driving range and the 18th fairway. And I remember one of the members said, "Oh, we call that Kelly's Hill." So nobody knows it's Kelly's Hill except me.
Anyway.
But I mean, it was a pleasure, and what can you say? Time passes, and you just kind of grow with it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, the only thing that I really want to say is, and I've got it written down here so I wouldn't forget to say it. Let me see. Joel Trickey's been here for a long time. This golf course has been made for Joel Trickey, and I consider Joel my friend, and I hope that continues. I would also like to thank all the members that I served with on the board. They were a great inspiration, they were a great challenge, and we did accomplish a lot, and I am pleased to say that we did accomplish a lot. And so we just move forward from here. Carleton's been a very friendly, open golf course, and you need volunteers. You have to have volunteers for it to continue. So I would my inexperience has probably helped in some way, but I thank all those that helped me achieve our goals.
Thank you very much.
Well,
and
thank you.
Really love talking with you today, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future on some more topics.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.